So, seeing that coil of rope as a snake is a illusion or delusion, which seemed very real at the time, and therefore we had all this reaction of fear, anxiety, all of that. But it was never real. All of that fear and anxiety came from something that was never really there. It was our misperception. So when we turn on the light, so to speak, we actually see what's there. So, to transfer that analogy to a person, when we talk about egolessness, we're not talking about that person is not there. We're not talking about that person's particular style of intelligence, style of being in the world, personality, we might say. We're not saying that's not there. That's like the rope. It's actually there. That's the being part. But then there's this extra, which is the illusion that we are separate. Me is going to come up this weekend. Thoughts about me, probably. I don't want to project anything onto you, but probably thoughts about me, not me, but each of our me's will arise because that's our habit. Don't worry. My suggestion is, don't worry about it. Don't try to get rid of it. Don't judge it. Just let it arise. And with the basic notion that the Buddha taught how to be. And right now, that meanness is part of our being. But it's not really there. So it's not something we have to get rid of. But it is something we can see through, which is the fundamental basis of the teachings of the Buddha. Seeing clearly, and therefore we see that this sense of separateness between ourselves and the world we live in and the universe is an illusion. Illusion that it was never really there to begin with. The general theme is synchronizing our being, bringing it into harmony, restoring our well-being. And I think in each of our sessions, which we go through, I'd like to introduce a term which we use in the Shambhala lineage. For some of you, these might be relatively new terms and kind of an introduction. And to others of you, you will have heard these terms many times, but hopefully we can continue to deepen our understanding of these words, because words have meaning, and meaning is actual experience. So we can continue to work with these basic words. So the reason meditation works altogether, the reason that we can synchronize ourselves with our body and mind, with our world and with our universe, is based on the term that I think my teacher, Chogyam Trungpa, coined, in a sense, because it could refer to so many words in the Tibetan Buddhist tradition, which refer to this level of reality or fundamental being, which is awake. So it's similar to Buddha nature. It's awake, it's good. Not particularly as opposed to bad. It's all good. And that term that Chogyam Trungpa used in English is a basic goodness. So this word of basic goodness, which I must admit personally took me years to understand. It seemed, I just didn't get it for quite a long time. It seemed so, it's a word that works, or a term that works on so many different levels. And this isn't particularly about basic goodness, but it's actually the ground of why the path works altogether. So one of the Tibetan terms that it could perhaps be said is a pretty direct translation of is the Tibetan is a Domine Sangpo. Domine is D-O-M-I-N-E. Sangpo, S-A-N-G-P-O. Domine Sangpo. And Domine is the basic part, the basic goodness. And Domine basically means that from which everything arises. That from which everything comes. So it's very basic. And Sangpo means good or pure. So Domine Sangpo means something like that from which everything arises has from beginningless time been good and pure. Because of that basic goodness, we can synchronize our body and mind, we can synchronize with our sense perceptions, we can synchronize with the universe. Because that from which everything arises is good and pure. That's the basic ground of the reality altogether.